Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. 56. Na yogena na sankhena, na sankhena, karmana no na vidyaya, brahmatmaikatva bodhena, moksha siddhyati nanyatha. Na yogena. Wonderful slow. Okay. Many things to say over here. Na yogena. Here yoga means yoga darshana. Ashtanga yoga. Na sankhena. Sankhya here means tattva vichara, analysis of the theory, analysis of the statement. Na karmana, not by performing karmas. Karmas here, not work. Karma here, the rituals, Vedic karma. Na vidyaya. Here, vidya means not paravidya. Here, vidya means not aparavidya. Here, vidya means studying a lot of scriptures. Moksha na siddhyati. Liberation is not possible. What a wonderful statement. Let's see that for liberation, people try a lot of things. That is why people may be adharmic, unrighteous, but there are a lot of people in the temple, in the mosque, in the church, or any other religious places. Day by day, the crowd is going on. If you go to any temple, you can't stand. Even nearby Kalighat temple, Dakshineshwar temple, very recently I went at least twice or thrice. Scorching heat, thousands of people, and so many things. Yet if we open up the newspaper, every day we will see there is degradation of humanity. So now dharma has transformed into rituals. People have forgotten the essence of actual dharmika jivan, righteous life. It has become ritualistic life. Why? Everyone wants to be happy. And they are finding no way but experimenting. If you open up, I have idea about the Bengali daily in Sunday or any other days. So many names and pictures of the palmist and who are having occult powers. And whenever on the way I have seen, there are queue and advance name written, and they have to pay first, because this is also one kind of liberation. People want to be liberated from their own problem. But everyone is searching temporary liberation because they have no idea about liberation. They think if I don't have this sort of problem right now, I will be liberated. I'm talking about 15, 16 years, 17 years back. One of my students completed masters in economics. And in their family, there was a lot of problem. Among them, economic problem was one of them. But somehow it was manageable, but not the other problem. On that time, I knew a lot of people, and a lot of people knew me. So that student started crying, like many other students, that please arrange one job for me. I know that will solve all my problems. I was failure to make her understand that this is not the root cause of the problem. I did not feel about moksha. So anyhow, she got a job in irrigation settlement department as an officer. Economic problem gone, but other problems started sprouting on in a new ways. Then she acknowledged, no, you are right. Not me, actually the Shastra. Shastra is the actual biography of a Swami or of a realized soul. Don't take that why that autobiography of him. That is one purpose. But a real realized soul, a real Brahmajnani, a real Swami, no need to write any biography. The entire scripture is his biography. So, here, see, Bhagavan Shankaracharya is told the root cause of problem you can't get rid of by doing any means. If you want to start, studying Ashtanga Yoga, because Ashtanga Yoga doesn't mean exercise and Kapalbhati Anulam Vilom. Ashtanga Yoga is a precise book, and they are having the idea of liberation. The liberation between Purusha and Prakriti. Their yoga means, in yoga philosophy, if I ever get chance, I will teach you Patanjali Yoga Sutra. It's very interesting. So their yoga means actual yoga. Yoga from Purusha and Prakriti. But according to Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji, that liberation also, because they think the actual separation of Purusha and Prakriti is liberation. According to Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji or Upanishad, it is not. So, there are 9 Eastern schools of philosophy. So, 3 are atheist philosophy. It's not that they don't believe in God. Actually, they don't believe in Veda or the verdict of Veda. That is why they are segmented as atheist philosophy. First one is Charga. They are very gross and very body oriented. But they have also philosophy, beautiful philosophy of humanity. But their basic is eat, drink, and be merry. And who is the starter, establisher of this philosophy is Brihaspati. And some people, Brihaspati is their guru. But some people say that Virochana is their guru. But there is one conflict because Virochana believed that there is life after death. Because Virochan and Indra both studied under Brahmaji Upanishad for 32 years. It is in Chandogya Upanishad. So anyhow, when he came into contact with Upanishad, and 32 years he studied. So at least one thing he used to believe that there is life after death. Another atheist philosophy is Jainism, and it was started by Rishabhadev. And Jainism has a beautiful philosophy, beautiful, and it's parallel to Upanishad. But they directly condemn Veda. That is why they are considered as atheist philosophy. And Buddhism started by Bhagavan Buddha. Actually, we misunderstand them that they don't believe in Veda. Actually, on their time, people actually forgot Upanishad, or they did not pay any value to Upanishad. On that time, people used to consider that Veda means only karma kanda, only fire rituals and sacrifices of animals, like that. So what happened about the Upanishad, because it was the part of the Veda, they used to tell that this is the time pass mantra, means, in between two fire rituals, there should be a tea break. So what they will do in that tea break, as the continuation remains, on that time they will chant Upanishad. Means nobody will pay attention to it, but the Vedic mantras are going on. On that time, Veda and Upanishad was like that. So, and the society was too much degraded because they misunderstood anything else. Ignorance is a bliss for them. But if you misunderstand anything else, it's dangerous. So that happened in Bhagavan Buddha's time or Rishabhadev's time. So that is why they really condemned Veda, because there were no other ways actually. Or their way was the easiest way to revive the humanity into the society. Then, means the school, and atheist philosophy means they are having own version of thinking, own vision. So they started that how to get freedom from sorrow. Philosophy means only one. How to get freedom from sorrow. Any philosophy. any ism, you just see. हो सकता है वो मेडिकल विद्या हो सकता है, ये पामिस्ट या तंत्र या मंदिर, wherever you go. Why people are making queue? They want to get rid of their sorrows. So that schools, even Charvaka, Jainism and Buddhism, they have their own vision to get liberation. Clear? Then Astika Darshan, among them that is Sankhya Darshan, Nayogena. So Sankhya and Yoga are always together. Clear? Sankhya is started by Kapil Muni, and they used to believe that matter is jada. Matter, any matter is jada. And spirit is Chaitanya, conscious. It is their belief system. And that matter, any matter is Prakriti. And spirit is Chaitanya, Purusha. Okay. According to them, Purusha means Chaitanya and Prakriti means the entire Jada Jagat or inert world. Then Yoga Darshan, and the Acharya was Patanjali Maharshi, and that Ashtanga Yoga was his contribution, but it worked on mental level, mind level. Its main thing was, or its main work was on mental level. How to control your mind. That was the main purpose or main theme of Yoga Darshan. Then Nyaya and Vaisheshika. So they are also almost parallel. Like Sankhya and Yoga are almost parallel. Likewise, Nyaya and Vaisheshika are the almost parallel. Nyaya means logic. And the Acharya was Gautama. Gautama Maharshi was the, and like we, Vedantin has aphorism or the basic things that Brahma Sutra, they are also having Nyaya Sutra. Okay. Like Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Like Vaisheshika Sutra is also there. Okay. So Maharshi Gautama was, here Acharya means who has written it, who has introduced it, segmented it, separated it, constructed it, designed it. He is the Acharya. And they have also their Prakarana Grantha, like we Vedantists have their Prakarana Grantha, like Tattva Bodha, Atma Bodha, Vivekachudamani, Vedanta Paribhasha, Vedanta Sara. Likewise, they have also their own Prakarana Grantha, basic books of their own philosophy. And they try to prove, establish their everything else by putting logic. Sometimes I tell you that suppose from the palm tree, if the palm, the overripened palm, when it drops, there is a sound because it's mainly grassy area. So they start argument that tal pore dhut shabd holo. নাকি ধূপ করে তাল করলো। শুনতে হাস্যকর হলেও Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji was the master of everything else. Unless and until you understand the subtlety of Nyaya philosophy, it's very difficult to understand Vedanta. And if whenever we will study again, we have studied already Ishavasya Upanishad with Shankara Bhashya, Bhagavan at his every word put the help of Nyaya philosophy. Tarka Sangraha is their very popular book, and in our Velurma Training Center and in Samdipan also we studied a little bit. It's a very critical book, very, very critical book, Tarka Sangraha. It's a very small book, like handbook. So if that small handbook is so critical, so think about other books of Nyaya philosophy. But Nyaya is verily required to understand Vedanta. Then, actually, in this way, our thinking process becomes sharper. Like whoever starts drawing, like I used to go to a very famous master who is parallel to Vivekachudamani. Our first task was to make round, square lines in how much speed we can do. So our hand drawing will be very quick and prominent. Because if I tell you to draw something else over here, first your hand will be like that. But actually who practices it, they will start doing like this, So, like it's the shadow practice. So Nyaya is like the shadow practice of Vedanta. Because Vedanta is not for the mass. You should understand. Vedanta, in the way it has come to us, it's not for the mass, but it should be for the mass. That Swami Vivekananda or our Pujya Gurudev tried. Because our Pujya Gurudev in public talk, he used to speak on Vedanta, Taittiriya Upanishad, Aitareya Upanishad. He used to teach. So the thing is, Vedanta actually is not for the mass, but because mass means the common people who are not ready to study anything else, who are not ready to think in a very subtle way, who needs ready-made, dabba food, Zomato, Swiggy, all this. They don't want to cook all those various beautiful dishes. So Nyaya Darshan helps. So because if I don't know cooking, it's good enough. Because Zomato or Swiggy or Amma A, Amma B, Amma C will send me food. But if a cook of a hotel doesn't know cooking, then that is dangerous. Another is Vaisheshika. The Acharya is Kanad. And actually, he only used to eat Kanad. They were all big, big philosophers. Their lifestyle was like that. whole life they used to eat very less, used to think a lot, and used to write something. And one Vedantic Acharya, after marriage, he was so engrossed, entangled with his studies that after 32 years of marriage, actually he forgot the, maybe he was married, he forgot, or he forgot his wife's face also. So one day after 30 years of marriage, or 32 years of marriage, when he was writing, so the wig, solte, that we call it, the wig of a lamp was very feeble and there was no oil. So, but his wife's only resort was her husband. Means he always used to look at her husband and maybe used to be happy, I don't know. So he used to put oil into it, and suddenly the writer, name is Vachaspati Mishraji, saw and asked, "Who are you?" In this midnight, and she told, "I am your wife." And that Vachaspati Mishra really regretted that he could not do anything, samsarika duty for her wife, could not fulfill the worldly demand. He really regretted. And he told that my entire work will be in your name. The whole world will not know me. They will know my work in your name. Actually, he used to write Tika on Bhagavan Shankaracharya's Bhashya. And the entire school of thing is called Bhamati school. Bhamati Tika. Actually, we follow, means that Ishavasya Upanishad, Kaivalya Upanishad, or any other Upanishad I had told you at the time of Tattvabodha and Atmabodha without taking the name, I followed, or we follow Bhamati. We belong to Bhamati school. Okay. So here also the Acharya Vaisheshika, he used to eat only kana, very small food. So by that his name was Kanad. Okay. So on that time, actually, they used to take very minimum from the society, but they used to produce a lot for the society. It was our Indian culture. Consume less what you give to the society. It was the verdict. Then Purva Mimamsa, the karma kanda of the Veda, and their Acharya is Jaini, and they have also that sutra that is called Jaimini Sutra, very famous. A lot of other sutras are there on Purva Mimamsa, but among them, Jaimini Sutra is the very popular. And Uttara Mimamsa, the Acharya was Bhagavan Vyasadeva. That Vedanta nowadays we study, actually the Acharya is Bhagavan Veda Vyasa, and our basic is Brahma Sutra. Clear? So Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji told that how if you do everything else, in yoga, sankhya, karma, means Purva Mimamsa, Vidya, anything else. All 9 schools of philosophy, if you mm, by heart everything else and practicing liberation, what you think, the permanent liberation, the total cessation of sorrow, Atyantika Dukkha Nivritti is not possible. That is only possible by Brahma Atma Aikatva Bodhena Moksha Siddhyati. Only union of Brahman means Paramatma and Jivatma, total in consciousness and individual consciousness. When it will be understood that there is only one consciousness, and that is the actual form of liberation. That is the verdict of Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji. So our Gurudev is writing, none of the paths enumerated in this verse can take the student to his goal if he only mechanically follows it without an ardent and sincere cooperation. So what is that? Neither by yoga, nor by Samkhya, nor by ritual, nor by learning is liberation possible. Only by the realization of one's identity with Brahman is liberation possible, not by any other means. Okay, this is very important sloka. From 56 to 61 are very important sloka for our life. Important means not, because we will not sit for any university examination. Because every day, every moment, we face the test in life. So for that test, remembrance of those verses will be helpful to deal with our test papers. Okay. Now, 57. One very wonderful meaning is hidden over here. Veenaya Rupa Saundaryam. Veenaya Rupa Saundaryam. Tantri Vadana Saushthavam. Tantri Vadana Saushthavam. Prajaranjana Matram Tata. न साम्राज्याय कल्पते वीणायाः रूप सौंदर्यम. So you have seen the veena, actual veena. I don't know if you have seen or not. It looks wonderful. Its small version is sitar, but veena is a very big instrument and very costly instrument. One actual veena costs more than 1.5 lakhs or more than that. And इसका जो बाजन शैली भी कुछ अलग है. It depends on the need, because it can hold the sound vibration for a long time, because the board they use, it's a very big size, huge size. Like you have seen sitar, one stroke they give and then they use mead. But in veena, it longs for a minute sometimes, I have seen. And it's very tough. In Ramakrishna Mission's time, Ramakrishna Mission is a very music-oriented organization. Our Chinmay Mission also, but Ramakrishna Mission is more. The cultural side is very strong from the time of Swami Vivekananda, because he could play various instruments, he could sing. So from that time, there, uh, music is the part of the spirituality, one of the main part. So there not a single celebration happened without music. Even when the Swamis are on the funeral pyre and burning, that 2.5 hours, the total time will be bhajan and kirtan. So there we have seen some veena player. They used to come and play. It's a typical style of playing. It's not that, in our Saraswati Murti, Ma Saraswati is standing with that. It's a huge instrument. You have to sit, and their fingers are really, you have no idea. And the permanent cut mark, like 2 lips are permanently cut. Their fingers are like that. And they used to tell, ये तो हम लोगों का हाथ का हीरा है. Even sitar player also the same thing. So, Veenaya Rupa Saundarya Tantri Vadana Saushtava Praja Ranjana Matra. Means people get delighted by looking at the Veena, the beauty of the Veena. Or when a real person, because nowadays very less people learn Veena. That is why nowadays Veena is called as a rare instrument. Because बनाने वाला लोग भी नहीं है, बजाने वाले लोग भी नहीं है, सिखाने वाले लोग भी नहीं. Only in southern part of India, South India, they are trying to preserve that art and culture. So, Veenaya Rupa Saundaryam Tantri Vadana Saustabam Prajaranjana Matra. People get delighted by seeing, by looking at the Veena or the sound of Veena. Tatna Samrajyaya Kalpate. By it, one can't think that he will be the king. Then you can think, what is the use of, where is the connection between these two? Because, where is the connection of getting a kingdom, being a king, with that Veena and Veena Vadaka? I will come. That is the beauty of the verse, what Gurudev is telling. The beauty of the Veena and the proficiency of one playing on its chords serve but to please an audience. They do not by themselves ever prove sufficient to confer full sovereignty. See, the Tantri Vadana Saushtava means proficiency or mastery. There is the beauty of Veena. Now, here Praja Ranjana Matram. Here, Prajaranjana Matram means it's the mental entertainment. It will not give you liberation. Now you can ask that Swamiji, how can you, making a simile between Samrajya, getting a kingdom and liberation. Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji has used the subtlety of Sanskrit language that in the book you will not get, that I got from our own Acharya. You know, the word Raja, who is the king of the empire, entire dynasty, is called Raja. How that word comes? Ranjana Raja. Raja means who entertains people, who looks after people, means entertainment. Entertainment always makes us happy. My mother is very caring. My father is very caring. My friend is very caring. What does it mean actually? It makes me happy. The bottom line is happiness. He is so loving, Swamiji, you have no idea. His mode of love, his expression of love makes me happy. Ranjana the Raja. तो हिंदी में बोलते हैं मेरा राजा बेटा, because he gives me happiness. So who is making you happy? He or she is the Raja, king of your heart. That may be your son, that may be your daughter, that may be your husband, that may be your wife, that may be your any friend, that may be your own guru, teacher, that may be your own ishta, who entertains me, who gives me beautiful touch of happiness, a subtle touch of happiness. He is Raja, Ranjana Raja. So his role is to make people happy by the entertainment they want. You know, we went to a Diksha. I was then very junior. So till now I am junior. Till date I will be junior, but in age. So our another Swami with another senior Swami, I went to have a Diksha. So that gentleman told Swamiji, what my wife has prepared today, you have to taste. And she is expert in that. It's a non-Bengali zone. And Swamiji told me, oh, yes, yes. So she prepared something else with bitter gourd, Karela, and that Swami did not like a bit of Karela, So that wife tried her best in cooking, but वो उसका trying स्वामी को रंजन नहीं कर पाया. So means here Ranjana means what make others happy in their way, not in my way. Clear? Now, the musicians also entertain people, his audience. But the king has a kingdom. Musician also Raja. Because musicians also entertains people, entertains his audience. The veena with its own accord, with its own beauty, it entertains the seers, spectators. But they are not the king. Because if you want to get a dynasty, you want to know many more things. You have to be Rana Kaushal, Yuddha Nipuna. You have to be a great warrior. You have to be a great politician. So a Raja may be many more people. बच्चा भी उनके माँ के लिए राजा होता है. But he is not the king of the dynasty. What Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji want to compare Veenaya Rupa Saundaryam Tantri Vadana Saushthavam Prajaranjana Mantram Tat Na Samrajyaya Kalpa. Like a person can be designated as Raja as he is a great entertainer of people. But he can't even think that I am the king of the dynasty. Likewise, a person may be happy by doing, temporarily happy by doing a lot of rituals, by studying a lot of books, by memorizing a lot of verses. Whenever it is required, he quotes from here and there, left and right. But if they think that through this only I will be liberated one from all my sorrows, it's a dream only. So how the liberation possible? Brahma, Atma, Aikya, Bodhena, Moksha, Siddhati. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om.